This is different from just a coach announcing his retirement. Quick history lesson, and then y'all can pull what you want. McGallions and Woodard started in 1967 when his father hired my first cousin. We've had Woodards and McGallions at Silsbee ever since, and got one on each side there right now. My other cousin Bobby's in his 32nd year there. It's the only job he's ever had. Stud's son Bobby, who they call Bubba, just so they don't mix him up with Bobby Woodard, because they were in the same class, is the head coach there. So me and Craig have known each other since we was kids. We've always, over the years in coaching, discussed coaching together. If one of us got the right coordinator's job or head job, bringing the other. It worked out in this job. I can't imagine doing this job without Craig. He's been here since day one. He's done just about everything you can do in all different areas. He was very instrumental in helping us build this building that we're in. He was our first recruiting coordinator. He was very instrumental in getting our first few classes together here. He's coached position for me here, and he's been a coordinator here. This come out of the blue yesterday. I didn't really have a plan for this. I wasn't prepared for this, and I don't know if I handled it very well. Obviously, when you're coaching with a guy who's that close of a friend, you have a number of private conversations that will stay private. But yesterday, he made it clear to me that he just didn't feel like he could go forward anymore in coaching. It had to do with his health. It had to do with his mental attitude. It had to do with how we were playing defensively. A lot of things factored in that. But this was, he called the meeting, and it was completely his decision. I spent really most of the meeting trying to talk him out of it. After we got past that, and I couldn't talk him out of it, then we had to get into well, what would be the best approach, what would be the best thing to do going forward. My first thought was, well, let's just get through the next 2 weeks and not really address it or announce it until the season's over. After I talked to the team about it, I got to thinking that with social media and everything today, that's not fair for our players or our coaches to try to get them to try to play and coach 2 weeks. It's going to get out. So this morning, I said, let's go ahead and do what we need to do on this. And so we released a release, and we go from there. But you know, the conspiracy theorists out there are going to say that I fired Coach McGallion. Nothing could be further from the truth. Right now, if he'd pick up the phone and call and say he changed his mind, I'd take him back in a heartbeat. Still, I know the people that want to go the other way. I don't think that'll change their mind. But I just want to take this opportunity to say I really appreciate everything Coach McGallion has done for our program and for me personally. And I look forward to many more years of being a good friend with him and then growing old with him. Now let me open it up.
You mentioned, obviously, just total surprise. You had no idea this was coming.
Yeah, I mean, it really caught me off guard. I wasn't, when he said he wanted to talk to me, we were all upset with the way we played Saturday night. I figured it had something to do with our defensive play, and then he was upset at the beginning of the meeting. I still thought it was going to be about what we needed to do to try to fix what we did, and then it just spiraled from there. Yeah, it took me by total surprise.
Do you think you get the idea that Coach McGallion thinks, okay, you know, this is something that may, you know, although it's tough for a coach to leave a couple of games, so maybe this is the best thing for Lamar to actually play better on defense or something like that? Do you get that idea?
He said that. He told me that. He said, I think this is the best thing for you. And I said, now how in the heck is this the best thing for me? He goes, well, you could use this and maybe our players that get some energy and will bounce. I didn't really see it that way. I certainly didn't want to do that or take it that way or try to spin it that way because that's not what happened. And even though he offered it up, it was very gracious of him to do that. That's the furthest thing from what really happened.
So is he not finishing the season?
No, he's retiring, and I talked after we got past the I'm not coaching, I'm retiring. Then we had to get into with the TRS what he has to do to officially do that, and I'll be reassigning him. He's going to do a lot of off-field work for us and study hall and team travel and other things, and helping recruiting and do some things until he can get with the TRS about the official date that he'll retire from Lamar University, and as soon as we know that date, we'll release that as well. I don't. This just happened yesterday, and I'm sure he's on the phone and doing some things today. I don't think he had planned on this a lot before this weekend as well. I don't know that for sure, but
you are a defensive-minded coach. You're going to turn things over to Coach Kreiner. Are you going to work with them? You guys going to work together on that, or are you just going to leave it up to him?
Coach Kreiner will be the defense coordinator. He'll call the defense, but I will work with him over the course of the next 2 weeks.
What did you kind of offer that made you think that he was the guy in the next couple weeks?
Mark Kreiner, he's coordinated before. He's been in a lot of the game planning and signal calling and suggesting. He's the closest we've had to calling defenses with Craig. It's been a co-thing sometimes as well anyway, and he's just the best person for this.
Going forward, is he a guy that you could see maybe leading the defense, or what's the early plan for you guys in trying to replace Craig?
Right now, we're going to, Mark's going to be the interim. This is a tryout for him. This is a chance for him to earn the job, and he needs to look at it that way. I'm sure he does, and we'll see. Right now, what we're going to try to do now is try to get past the news that we got yesterday and put everything in place in time to try to win a football game this week. And after today, I'm going to sit here till I'm blue in the face talking about this, and then we got to move on to Incarnate Word because this is too big of a game, too important of a game, and we have more to do. And I'll talk about that here just as soon as we get through with this. But after today, we got to move on.